Hi, I'm Pam Magniers with NutriPhysique, nutritionist and exercise physiologist, and I'm going to make a berry jello. It's a blueberry version today, but you can make this any flavor you want with any berry and any juice that you want. It's kind of a therapeutic jello. Let's put jello in quotes because we all think of the old-fashioned gelatin jello. This is not that. But it's the closest thing I can think of to describe what this turns out like. It's a cold, chilled pudding kind of that sets like a jello, and it's really delicious. You can use it in a number of different ways. So there's tons of things you can do with this jello. You can use it in yogurt to make your own. Buy plain so you don't have sugar and mix it into plain yogurt. It's really good. You can serve it just with whipped cream, or better yet, my Greek whipped cream, which is a blend of Greek yogurt and whipped cream. You can serve it on top of hot cereal, just like you would put blueberries on top of a bowl of hot oatmeal. This stuff's even better, top of hot cereal. And you can use it instead of jelly on toast, which is awesome. And you can put it in protein shakes. Instead of adding berries, you can put that in your protein shake to sweeten it up and give it some flavor. So there's tons of things you can do with this. It's delish. And it's so easy and fast. And the other benefit of this is that you're going to be using two things that are therapeutic. Therapeutic for your gut, helps feed your gut cells. We're going to use kudzu root for starters to thicken it. That is very therapeutic, very alkalizing, helps to heal your gut cells. If you have a stomach ache, this stuff's great to have around. I do several things with this to have around just to keep the gut healthy and happy. The other thing we're going to use is umeboshi paste, which is a salt plum, a Japanese salt plum. It's very salty and very sour. We're going to just use a teaspoon of it to give this pudding some tang, but this is very alkalizing. So this will really alkalize your blood, helps bring your acidity down, which is very good for reducing your risk of cancer and disease and all kinds of things. All kinds of things. So this is good to have around as well. So here's what you do. It's as simple as taking some unsweetened 100% juice. In this case, we're going to make a blueberry pudding. By the way, you can do this with any berries, mixed berries, any juices, as long as it's an unsweetened pure fruit juice. We're only using 3/4 of a cup in this case. And we're putting this blueberry juice in here, and then we're going to put organic. I'm using frozen organic blueberries because we're making a blueberry pudding here. But you can mix your juices, you can mix your fruits. We're going to heat this up to simmering, just the juice and the blueberries. While I'm doing that, I'm going to go get a cup of water, just good old-fashioned water. So while you're simmering your blueberries, your berries in your juice, and making blueberry today, take a cup of cold water and add your kudzu root starch. So it's 3 or 4 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of kudzu root to this recipe, depending on how thick you want it. In this case, I am adding 3 tablespoons, 3 heaping tablespoons to my cup of water. And just stir to dissolve. As you can see, it dissolves very quickly. Continue stirring it to make sure it's completely dissolved, because if you don't get this really well dissolved, you're going to get lumps. And you're going to add this milky kudzu water. By the way, you can just take a sip of drink this, take a sip or two. If you have a sour stomach, it's amazing. It really does help. I've used it many times. So now I've got this simmering blueberry. Oh my goodness, it smells so good. I wish you could smell it. And I'm going to add it. And see how I'm stirring this? I don't want this to separate. Your kudzu and your water will separate if you don't keep it real well stirred. Now you're just going to stir this while it's simmering. I'm going to turn the heat down. It was on medium to bring it to a simmer. I'm going to turn it down to about a medium low. I'm going to continue stirring while it starts to thicken up. So it's done. I want to show you how cool it looks. It just transformed. You'll know when it thickens. Look at that beautiful color. That's full of phytochemicals. Dark purple. Foods are so good for us, and there's not many of them. So this is what it looks like when it's done. It's nice and thick. Okay, so now at the very end, I'm going to add the umeboshi, and we're just going to add about a teaspoonful here, not more than a teaspoonful, because this stuff's potent. That adds just a bit of a zip, a tang. It's hard to explain, but it also adds a lot of therapeutic. So we're going to mix that in at the end. You don't want to cook umeboshi. You just want to add it in at the very end. Get the very alkalizing properties. Stir that up. Now you see how thin, relatively speaking, it doesn't look like Jell-O right now. Because it's not yet. We're going to pour it into a glass container and chill it. And then you've got more of your Jell-O. Now's when you taste it and see if it's sweet enough. It almost always is. Don't burn your mouth. Very blueberry-ish. Very good. And if it needs a little bit of sweetener, go ahead and add, and I'm talking a small amount of either xylitol, the sugar alcohol. Oh, got it a little too high. Getting some big bubbles. Tiny. Do you see I added about a half a teaspoon because really it doesn't need it. So you can add a little bit of xylitol or just a dash of stevia if it's not sweet enough for you. This is sweet enough for me, so I'm going to leave it as is. Take it off the heat and put it into a glass container, which is what I store all my food in, is glass containers, by the way. Get rid of your plastic stuff because it's not so good for us, especially if you're putting hot food into plastic. So pour that into a nice glass dish. Look how beautiful that is. This is great, a great holiday dessert, by the way. Or if you throw some cranberries in there, it's a great replacement for the holiday cranberry dish that's full of sugar. Now, if you do use cranberries and cranberry juice, you are going to need to add some sweetener. I'm just going to warn you. And you might even need to add just a little bit of plain organic cane sugar too, because I don't want it to be bitter. Because cranberries can be, well, we all know cranberries are not like a berry. They're not sweet and at all like a berry. So you're going to need to add maybe some cane sugar and use some xylitol, use some stevia, but don't use only xylitol or stevia because they can impart sort of a, stevia can be a little bit bitter and the xylitol can impart a little bit of a different flavor. They're really good if you use a little bit, but if you use a lot, then you taste them. So if you do the holiday cranberries, use some sugar. Now all I'm going to do is let this cool down. As soon as it's cooled down, I'm going to put a cover on it, put it in the fridge, and it's going to thicken right up into a beautiful Jell-O pudding. And I'm going to make some cream for it, and we're going to enjoy it, and I'll show you how good it is later. So here it is, the finished product, your Jell-O, so to speak. I guess the best I can tell you is that here's how thick it is. It's nice and beautiful, dark blue, purple, delicious, and I can't wait to dig in. By the way, this is a half a cup. This recipe makes 3 cups, 6 servings, 6 half-cup servings. Half a cup serving of this, 40 calories and 10 grams of carb. Pretty darn good, okay? So 40 calories, 10 grams of carbs for this dessert that is therapeutic and healing in so many ways and full of antioxidants, by the way, with the berries. And now I'm about to add 25 more calories because I'm going to eat this with my Greek whipped cream. So about 3 tablespoons of Greek whipped cream. I may not even use 3 tablespoons. 3 tablespoons, I'm going to use, that's 2 tablespoons. That's what I'm going to use. 3 tablespoons of this is 25 calories. So 2 is less than that. So it's about 14, 15 calories there I just added. So now I have about a 55 calorie dessert. Didn't add any carbs with this cream. And now I'm going to taste it. Best part of all. So I wish I could show you how good this tastes. It's really good. You gotta make it so you can taste it for yourself. I'm gonna eat the rest of this. See you later. Cut!